is ash and meat.
The Imperious elves got the red eyes and pale skin of a white. And I'm not convinced I expect I am your first. I suppose I am as alien to you as you are to me. I know of your kind, but I do not often encounter them. That large, fleshy nose of yours looks like a mistake. It was an observation, not a compliment. No matter. I do not intend to stay long in this place. Entirely. Each creche contained the library was a gift from Vlaakith herself, that we may gain total understanding. Countless scholars roam the planes are ever, yet we still collect more. Infinities upon infinities. Ceramorphosis takes all of you. Mind, body, soul. An ordinary tadpole would eat it, but our tadpoles are far from ordinary. I wonder if another factor's in play. Many a good warrior savors the scent of blood in the air. There's no shame in a capricious murder now and again. Too many, though, and you waste energy and dull your weapon. My suggestion, attack with purpose and savor your kills. And if the urge proves too much, well, I'm sure we can find you a goblin or two to carve up. I understand more to the point. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to yes, then you start to hallucinate. Your bones will change form. All skin. Then you have ceased to exist. And a mind flayer is born. Words forged in steel. We must find my... The first symptoms should have long since started, though. That is what puzzles me. Yes, if bad. Besides, what hasn't happened may yet come to...
You have a manner of irresistible desperation about you. I like it. Oh, what's to tell? I'm a magistrate back in the city. It's all rather tedious.
Astarion's an interesting find. Let's hope any future acquaintances don't hold a blade to your throat by way of introduction.
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
I understand why you ask, but memory loss is not as uncommon as you'd think. There may be other causes.
We've been through quite a lot, with likely more to come. Care to narrow it down a little? Must I? Thinking about it won't help. Find a way to rid... Personally, I think finding the... I'm not too hopeful that a Gith creche will actually prove our salvation, but worth keeping in mind. I must admit, you've been a surprise, and not an unpleasant. Besides, you saved my life aboard the Nautiloid. I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course. Home. Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible. Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
Come, there are important matters to discuss. We meet again. I shall be here in thy camp, for whenever thou hast need of my services. Beyond mortal realms, there doth exist an amalgamation of spirits akin to thine own, ensnared by the treacherous cult of the Absolute, felled in its name. They bear great discontentment with their destiny. For a mere pittance of coin, I might summon the worthiest among them to lend aid to thy undertaking. Most willingly, forsooth. Their passions doth run deep for what hath been wrought upon them. Suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. My services are all that I can proffer thee. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more. Because it is my calling. There is little else to explain. A matter of coin.
Elbows high. Now pull back and swing.
Hells! We can't just leave.
I'll not gamble our lives. Can we all just take a moment, please?
What's the point in blades and spells if we don't bloody use them? We should stay. These people aren't fighters. We can help.
Or yell louder. That's fine too.
This isn't El Terrell, and I'm not responsible for every damn tiefling in the world!
Just be responsible for yourself, then. We have to stay. It's the right thing to do.
Zerg. Fine. We'll stay. If we survive, it'll make for a good story, I suppose.
Thank you, Roland.
How long until Roland shows off his...
We should have left by now. Damnation! Instead, we're just sitting here, practically begging to be attacked. Staying is a mistake. More than most. A few strangers may stare, but they'll keep their daggers sheathed. I'll be warmly received, besides. You are looking at Leroican's newest apprentice. Yes, that Leroican. The greatest wizard in Baldur's Gate.
I've heard that name before. A young man, yes? Lives in Ramazes Tower in the upper city.
The very same.
Word in Waterdeep has it he's a bit of a cad. But you say he's an accomplished wizard.
Of course he is. The greatest spellcaster along the Sword Coast. As if I'd settle for a lesser mentor.
In that case, I'd very much appreciate it if you could arrange an introduction, should we reach the city.
don't be fooled by mere gossip. The byproduct... I've admired Leroican for years. Never dreamed he'd answer my letter. But I've worked myself to the bone for this. Few can... The names Roland and Leroican will be known far and wide.
Refugees, well met. Is there anything you need? Act fast if you do. I know it's drastic, but more monsters seem to terrorize. We druids will be safe. As for those that took refuge here, well, may Sylvanas guard them. As I said, it's a drastic measure, but the survival of the Grove is paramount. There just aren't enough supplies to support just some bits and bobs I no longer need. Sylvanas, guide your path.
We're exposed now.
Children! Look who's here. The weight is getting to me. If we left, we can at least make a run for it. The Blade of Frontiers. What a thrill for the children.
They're tough kids.
Again.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
And again. Swing and swing.
Go on. Give me a best shot. Not bad. Again.
I can't do it. I'm not like you.
Umi, I don't... You just have to buy enough time to run. Come on. I believe in you. You can do this.
Well met. The Blade of Frontiers at your...
The man's smile bends downward, and his thoughts become yours. You are the Blade of Frontiers, racing through the wastes of Avernus. Just ahead, a diabolical figure, red skin, single curled
Hell's great fires. You were on the doomed to but we haven't sprouted any tentacles.
Your minds collide once more. Will chases the fiend ignited with rancor.
Shit!
Advocatus Diaboli. A devil's advocate. A champion in the blood war between diabolical forces and demons.
I'm no stranger to the Infernal. Her name is Karlach. I tracked. She's out there now, preying on the innocent. I don't kill her, she'll leave behind nothing. Just so you know, my first duty is Karlach. But I won't deny this I accept your invitation. I'd love to join, but I don't think there's enough space for me to squeeze in. A splendid plan. We'll talk more there.
How long until Roland shows off his thumb?
How can I help? Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, City of Splendors. I am a wizard of considerable acclaim and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry. There. Didn't that paint enough of a picture? Memory loss isn't usually a symptom of ceremorphosis. If it is, they've forgotten to write it down in any text I've read on the subject. Then again, our case isn't exactly usual. Perhaps whatever's causing our tadpoles to remain in stasis has also affected your mind. If ceremorphosis takes place, all trace of your former self will be subsumed into the Mind Flayer's hive. So, to still be here, if a mite forgetful, still a win in my book.
And again. Swing and swing and...
Goblins, druids. Grab what you can and get out. That's my advice.
My thunder wave will make quick...
What?
You! Saw you fighting those slimy bastards. Fancy a bowl? Best to fill your belly now, while we still can. Food. You want it or not? Look, it ain't much, but it might make all the difference. The only way we'll make it to Baldur's Gate is to run, and run hard. If a gnoll catches your scent, you'll need every bit of strength. Trust me. bucket. You've had your share.
Ah, if it isn't the talk of the camp. Thank goodness you came along when you... Oh.
You're twitching something fierce, love. And your eyes. You look like you don't know the meaning of the word sleep.
Auntie Ethel will sort you out. I've lotions and potions galore. Oh, nothing as fancy as that. But I come from a long line of women with a dab hand at such things. Aha! You take a sup at that and you'll feel right as rain, sweetie. Oh, 'tis just a healing potion, nothing fancy. Here. You just look like you might need a pick-me-up. I'm sorry to go on about it, but are you all right? You're looking awful peaky. Oh, I've seen it all. I once had a fella who'd been caught dabbling with a dryad. The wife was none too pleased and introduced him to a pot of boiling oil. But worry not. I fixed him up, and depending on the lighting, he looks good as new. My point is, whatever ails you, I promise I've seen worse.
She is not to know of our ailment. Only a gith healer may make us cure.
What is it, Petal? What's wrong? Then let old Auntie Ethel have a look at you. First things first. Tell me what's at you. No. That's as serious gets. Our path defines us, Petal. Without it, why, we could be anyone. Were you hurt recently? An accident of some sorts? That could explain things. Shh, it's all right. All you need is a bit of love and care, don't you think? If I was back in my tea house, I'd make you a cuppa and tell you to put your feet up. Alas, here I can only tell you to be kind to yourself, Petal. And encourage you to browse my bits and pieces, of course. Let me know if anything catches your eye. Myself included.
Hey, bother. Take care now, sweetie.
Thanks for fighting off those goblins. If you need to replace any gear, my selection's pretty slim. I had to leave most of my equipment in Elturel. Of sorts. Used to be a bread-and-butter tinsmith before Elturel fell into Avernus. These days, my talents are more eclectic. Learned a lot in my time in the Hells. Hope to forget most of it. But, between you and me, there's nothing in all the realms like the utter power of infernal machinery. Alas,
My offerings are far more humble these days.
Druids. Who uses forbidden truths?
I'm waiting on someone, and you aren't him. Do you mind?
Good to be back behind the walls, have to say. For as long as that... Don't make me hurt you, boy.
If it ain't the fearless Goblin Slayer. You sure you want to be seen with me? I ain't exactly popular with this lot. Half my crew are full of holes. Now I'm gonna take the blame for leading the goblins here. And losing track of the bloody druid. Alson. We've got a contract. Didn't work out, though. Goblins got him when we were turning tail. He's either digging latrines or boiling in a cookpot by now. Job's all yours, if you got a death wish. There's a wizard in Baldur's Gate that'll pay gobloads for a relic, supposedly buried round these parts. But gold ain't any use if you're too cold to spend it. If I knew that, I wouldn't be... But look, if you're itching to... It's called the Night Song. Supposed to be hidden under the temple where the goblins jumped us. I'd give you the map and wish you a happy funeral, but my mate Brian kept hold of it like his own Todger. Goblins made sure to the fat old chunk. All I've got's the contract. It'll show you where we turn back, if you feel like dying. Don't...